The bad news is you're probably not seeing a whole lot. The good news is that the jumping up and down of the camera is not going to drive you crazy. Because if this thing were working, you would probably see that I am walking. I have asked you to come take a walk with me tonight. I'll tell you what happened. I've had a hell of a day. Not nearly as bad as some people that I care an awful lot about, but I've had a pretty bad day, as I would imagine most of you have, to some degree. There's also been a couple of other kind of minor and major tragedies that have happened in the last little bit as well that we've been wrestling with. That how do you like that? Huh? That's what happens when a car comes directly at you. Hey, how are ya? So here's how it goes down. Another friend of the boat, and not somebody that you've seen in the chat, but somebody on the boat's very close friend unalived themselves last night. And well, we got the news of that, and it's a person who's very close friends with my brother, and someone that's in the anyway. It's horrific time, right? It's been one of those. Hey, we'll get backlit. This is at its best, people. Seriously, where do you go for this kind of entertainment? The boat. So, and then I got a call from Mindy. And you know what? I really wish I had not. Anyway, I got a call today from Q's mommy. And Q, thank God, has use of all of his limbs perfectly, apparently. He has little to no deficit on either side of the body. And that is absolutely a miracle. Anytime you have blood back up in your brain, that's a really good thing, right? Because normally one half of your body, when I had mine, one half was messed up for, a really long time. I dragged a toe for almost a year and a half. And it took almost 16 months before I was even able to drag the toe. But the speech thing was something I went through as well, right? I lost my speech. Well, Q, unfortunately, right now is not able to be understood when he speaks. This, however, is not something that we should all freak out and lose our mind about, because this happens more often than not. This isn't something that is unique. In fact, it would have been unique if something... If you've never dealt with anything like this, right, then this is a very, very uncomfortable thing. And finally given an opportunity to communicate, with your boy, and hear you, but can't, be understood. She's having a bad day. And if she's with us, she cursed at me a little bit. I don't know that she's going to be on the lifeboat tonight. And I love her like I love few people. But she's having a bad day, and sometimes you just need to curse at somebody. It really has. It's been a hell of a day. So I decided a while ago that I was going to go for a walk, and I set out, kind of Forrest Gump style, and I just started walking, and I'm actually fairly happy that I did, because getting out of the Lifeboat Southern headquarters, the Southwest office of Connection Central, I really need to get out of today. Thank you for not hitting me. I needed to get out of there, so I went for a walk, and my plan was to be back at the boat, and what I was going to do was kick squirrel on the squirrel cam, because to me it's important that all of you have an opportunity to get together and say hello to one another. And I have joked often that I can go wah 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 like Charlie Brown's teacher, especially if there's something going on where the crowd really needs to talk to one another. So I figured we could go for a walk, and it will at least give everybody here the opportunity to talk to one another. When you when you got to do these, when you got to do a tribute. And I want to tell you something. This was more fun. I mean it. That was hard this morning, but Steve Molesky won, right? He won. Normally, when I got to put on a tie, it is because somebody lost their fight with drugs, right? Normally, when I put on a tie, it's because that crap coming across the border killed somebody else. That's not what happened last night, right? Steve Molesky won his battle last night, right? That's awesome. It really is. It doesn't make it easy on the people that stick around, but he is not in a stitch of pain, and he was not a drug addict when he left planet Earth. That's why we do this. That's why we do this. That's why my shirt was not. I have worn the same shirt and the same tie for every single one of those that I've ever had to do, and I've had to do a grip of them. Right? I always go with the same combo. I didn't want to wear something that looked like a funeral. Honestly, I think you want to talk about somebody that had a profound effect on a group of people in a short period of time? Holy hell. Go read the comments of how many people who said Steve Molesky was the first person who ever welcomed me to the Lifeboat. I hope every one of you tries to beat that record. I hope every one of you thinks, you know what, Steve's not going to be here to do this. No one is ever going to step foot on this boat that I don't welcome. And I'm going to tell you something. If you're a member of this crew, you can literally count on the peace sign how many times I've asked people to welcome somebody on the boat. I've never had to. It started long before I ever did a damn thing. The very first people, Charlie Mullins, Miss V, right? Steve, everybody started that long before I ever said a word. Mark and I never had to. And, but you know what? It's a hell of a cool thing. It really is something that sets off this channel like no other. And the cliche of we do not have subscribers gets really old. Well, I want to tell you something. If you think we have subscribers on the Lifeboat, you just need to hang out today at a live or just peruse some comment sections, and you'll start to realize that what we have put together here. By the way, I ain't patting myself on the back. I'm as much a part of this holy crap as the people who come here. I get emails that say, "Boy, it's just amazing what you done." I'm as amazed as anyone else. This is it all stems from a really incredible group of people, and the people that showed up to hang out with that incredible group of people ended up being incredible. I mean, honestly, it's about what it comes down to. And man, I feel blessed to be a part of this. I really do. And you know what, people? I used to come on here all of the time, and I used to say, you know what? We're in the minority. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of evil people on this planet, and I'm wrong. I'm wrong, right? We're not in the friggin' minority. We're in the majority. Like, the word hasn't got out to everybody else, but we're in the majority. The vast majority of people on this planet are kind. That's no shit. It really isn't. I mean, the vast majority of people on this planet are kind. You may have a hard time believing this, but the vast majority of people in prison are kind. Some scary dudes in there, to be sure. And there are some lowlives and some people that honestly seem to get off having other people in pain, or suffering. But the vast majority of people are not. You hear me? Hold on 1 second. That's crazy. I don't think I could do that. I would have loved to have seen what that. Somebody just sent me something, but I'm not going to be able to read that. If I do, I don't know what will happen. I hate to lose the feed. After all, we're in the dark. You could fall asleep to this later, too. By the way, if you're having a difficult time falling to sleep, let the cares of the day wash away. I'm sorry, people. You have no idea how bad I could use a laugh. I also wish I could read your comments. That would be lovely. But I don't know if Lisa from Jersey is here, but when I set out on this excursion, I didn't quite plan this as well as I could have. By way of full disclosure, water in a backpack might not have been a bad idea. I'm kidding. I didn't walk that far, but it's but it's a walk. And I hope everybody is. I hope everybody's having a decent day, and I hope everybody's hanging in there. I think I see Alan Ballantyne's name, and I think 7th. I cannot read that, but thank you, my brother. I really appreciate you. You know what else, people? Now that I'm not crying my eyes out, let me tell you another little quick tribute. Do you know how many people reached out to me today and said, I spoke to him in the last 5 days? I mean, or in the last week or whatever, everybody had kind of a different number. Everybody was texting and talking to Steve. The number of people who said, he talked to me for like 3 hours, he got me through, he got me through, he got me through. It was just a recurring theme. And the best thing is, people, those ripples, honest to God, will never, ever go away. You know, people are going to be surfing those ripples when I'm gone and when you're gone. There's no way to make that bigger than it is. Do you get that? I'm not woofing you, right? If you've never been a dope fiend, if you're somebody that digs the channel and you've never been addicted to something, or if you've never seen the destruction and the devastation that this crap can do to a family, when one person gets sober, it changes the planet. I'm not kidding you. It's kids that are raised by parents that aren't on dope. It's kids that see a better life. That, how many generations does that go down to? Take a family tree, right? Take one, pick it, draw that thing out, and then randomly stick your finger on any name in the middle of it. That person gets sober and everything below it changes. It's a fact. The reason that this doesn't kill us, I get emails all the time from people who say, you're not going to keep this up. It's going to drive you insane. You're going to go nuts. We lose people. Molesky was a win. Steve Molesky was a win. That's not a loss for the Lifeboat. That one goes into the win category. For real. Would have been a lot better if he got a new heart and he could have continued making ripples. But you know what? Holy hell, he did a lot. We scored. I mean, we really did. We scored. One of the all-time great scores was Steve Molesky finding the Lifeboat. No joke. We've never done this. And I'm not taking away from anybody that we have had to put on a tie for who lost their fight. We love them. It's a disease. But God almighty, it's great when we win one. You know what I mean? Like, this is a sad day, but we won one. That's just, I don't know, man. That's worth the price of admission. Sometimes this can be a pretty depressing gig. But as sad as today was, I felt like today we won one. A little public service announcement, too. We lightened up some rules in this country on the experimenting of drugs that have not gone through a full process with the Food and Drug Administration. By the way, I support this. I think it's a great idea. If a person has 6 months to live, they're not too concerned about the side effects of an experimental drug, right? And this is a concept that I think was a pretty good one. However, like a lot of things that happen, there are a lot of individuals now who are having the ability to try some stuff that maybe hasn't been fully researched. Please do me a favor. If they start talking to you about new psychotropic medications, I just want everybody to know I am a firm believer that psychotropic medications do wonders for a lot of people. I am also a firm believer that there better be a crap load of studies on them before anybody starts taking them. Because the number of those medications whose first symptom, the first thing they write of, oh, this is bad, might make you want to unalive yourself. The cat that we lost last night who unalived himself was taking something that was a new psychotropic. And people around him, everybody said there was just a marked, change in personality. There are so many people in this country that are suffering. There are so many people in this world that are suffering, and they're all looking for a way to fix it, right? And a lot of times it does require some chemicals to be rebalanced in the dome, right? On top of that, connection is kind of key. It really is. And sometimes we look for the magic pill, but the magic pill is connection. I mean, not for everybody, but I promise you, for a lot of people, it's as simple as the fact that we have walked away from everything that we knew. We've walked away from everything we cared about, right? For real. You know, we used to go to clubs. We used to do things where everybody hung out with everyone else. And it didn't matter if you disagreed on some stuff. A couple of people left beautiful messages today. A couple of people came up and said, you know, I lurk because we disagree on some really major issues. And I appreciate you popping your head up to say something kind on a day like today. I really do. I appreciate it. I think, and I could be wrong, but I think that one of the things that we struggle with is that it's very easy to concentrate on the things that we disagree on, even if they are major, right? If you believe that when you die, right, you go nowhere, or you go someplace that is completely on the polar opposite of what I believe, I just don't see how that should threaten our friendship or the ability for us to have a friendship. And I'll tell you something else. I don't think anything should be that vested, right? I got one issue. I'm really loud ass about it. You know what it is, right? And I am passionate about it. Now, there are people who disagree with me, and it's okay. It is okay. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I'm not much on giving people passes, right? I'd love to have open dialogue with people that disagree with me. Not raising voices. I just would like to have somebody make me understand certain things. I think that used to be so healthy. I really do. You know who I disagree with often? You'd be shocked. Reese. For real. Reese and I have a very, very interesting way of communicating that just doesn't seem to step on one another, regardless of whether or not we agree on something. I think that's why people like watching us. Honestly. And I'll tell you something. It happens when we text. Well, happens more often when we talk, but when we're not live, we do fairly well. And we do disagree on stuff. Yeah, Alan Ballantyne and I can disagree. Friends can disagree. It's a beautiful concept. You know, it really is. It's a beautiful concept. We're coming up on a season that is going to make everybody much uglier than they were just 3 or 4 months previous. The closer we get, right, to November, the uglier it's going to get. And I really hope we all keep our heads. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't intend to come on here and campaign for anybody. It's never going to happen. I am absolutely going to come on and lay out the plan that whoever gets the bid for both parties, I'm going to lay out the border plan. I'm not going to do it with, hey, this is what I think. I'm literally just going to get the documents. We're going to put them up, and then we're going to let everybody go, hey, what do you think? You know what would be really fun? Is if we put them up without telling you what party did it. But I'll bet you people wouldn't show up that way. They'd want to know first. You know what I mean? Because we do that echo chamber thing. God forbid we were to read the other side. Let me tell you something. I will so happily vote for anybody that's got a plan of making that crap stop. It's taken too many really good people off of planet Earth. You know what? It's lovely out here. I'm not sure I have any idea where I am, but it is lovely, and it's a beautiful night. This is so here you go, people. When I tell you that I live in the city of Tucson, but that I'm really kind of in the sticks in the city of Tucson, I'm in the sticks. Like, you can actually see stars. Can you guys see that? Huh? So of course I can't see if you're actually seeing that, but the light pollution. There's very minimal light pollution out here. You can actually see stars, which is pretty damn cool. Very much looking forward to about, I would say 30 days from now, we'll be into that perfect sweet spot of weather where every night you can basically lay outside all night and it's just cool enough to be comfortable. People, thank you for indulging me. I realize this is probably not, I realize this isn't everybody's cup of tea. Going for a walk in the dark with a YouTube creator. Please believe that more than any day that I can remember on the boat, I would have liked to not do this show. I kind of wish Mark Wages were here. Mark and I would get together in the beginning and he would go, man, I don't want to do this one. And you know, when there's two of you heading into a show and you're doing 2 a day, that comes up often. Man, I don't want to do this one. And we would start, and without fail, every time we did one, right, by the time we got to the end, whoever started out all grumpy would say, man, I'm glad we did that. You know? And as silly and crazy as it is, right? It's that connection crap. It just keeps coming back to it. It just keeps coming back to it, people. You know, again, let me say this. You do know I didn't come up with this concept. And I got to say that because smarter minds than Tommy Scoville, right, came up with this concept. But it was so uniquely kind of a drug thing. And the lifeboat, if it has taught me anything, it has taught me that all of us literally are in the same boat. For real, right? We get dumped onto this planet with absolutely no instruction manual, right? None. We don't get a booklet that says, hey, here's how you got created. Here's where you're going when you die. And here's probably the way you ought to live, right? For satisfaction, to create a good offspring, right? That's going to be happy and healthy. Where the hell is that book? People will say, well, the Quran does that, or the Bible does that, or this does that. You know what? I won't argue any of those points. I really won't. I've said many times, I don't think anybody on their deathbed picks whatever their holy book was and says, I wish I had read that last. I just don't think that happens. But I mean like a nuts and bolts, hey, this is really simple, follows step 1, step 2. We just don't have it. So everybody spins out into this world and tries to figure out a way to get through it. And some people sleep with virtually every single person they come in contact with, right? And it works. It is a mechanism. That love that they get in 5 to 10 minute increments or 40 minute increments or whatever the case may be gets them through. It's not healthy, okay? But it's a coping mechanism. And it's what virtually every single person here is doing, right? And I mean here on the big round ball. I'm not meaning on the boat. All of us are in the same boat because we're all trying to figure out how to get through this without the owner's manual and the instruction kit. That's my humble opinion. That's what makes us all the same. And for some people, you know, a little cocaine takes the edge off, and for some people, a 12-pack does, you know, or you're smoking something off foil or sticking needles in your arm or whatever the case may be. And then for some people, drugs are not even on the horizon. Though people will say to me, no addictions, no nothing. I've never done any drugs. But they're doing X, Y, or Z, right? They eat for comfort, or they self-harm, or there's so many different things. And every one of them is our way of dealing with trauma, since there isn't in the owner's manual, section 7, coping with trauma. Early childhood, right? Page 9, kind of going through there, how to deal with awkward situations, first breakups. It's great if you got fantastic family, right? You got parents and you got people that can actually hook you up and talk to you about such stuff. Well, that's great, isn't it? It's a beautiful concept. The number of people who can say, yeah, that happened with me, there aren't a lot of them, which is rather sad, but it's a fact, right? How heartbreaking is it to listen to Reese talk about getting dropped off at the cadet corps? I'll tell you something. I consider myself a fairly tough dude. I survived some pretty rugged prisons, right? I've been through some crap. But I so distinctly remember, right? You know, as I've talked about on the boat a lot, I'm losing parts of the memory. I haven't lost any of those. I promise you. I could tell you the 6, 7, 8, 9, like those years. I could tell you everything. And I remember getting on the school bus. And the gentleman is gone, so I'll tell you his name. His name was David Jenny. He was the school bus driver. And he was auto before there was an auto, right? It was 1976. And I got on the bus for the first time to go to first grade, which was in a one-room schoolhouse, roughly 2.5 to 3 miles from where I lived. And I got on this bus, and Dave must have been 27 at the time, and he had long hair and a beard, right? And he had Jensen coaxial speakers, right? 6 of them in this school bus. And he had a sign up that said, if you want the tunes on and the windows down, keep the noise down and keep your feet out of the effing aisles. Not kidding. I was terrified of this man. Terrified. Like everything about him. And when you got on the bus, he was on AC/DC Back in Black, right? Which, by the way, was like a pretty new album. Or he would put on Aerosmith. Like he had great taste in music. But when you're 6 years old, that taste in music scared the crap out of me. I mean, like Back in Black, my first experience of Back in Black was the school bus going to first grade. And yeah, it terrified me. I'm not going to lie to you. And I picture what it would have been like if they said to me, you're not going home. Right? Johnny's not going to be here. Right? You're on your own, kid. I'm telling you, my palms are sweating. Right? And I got through Lewisburg. I got through Victorville. But that's some of the most terrifying crap I've ever heard in my life. If it doesn't make you hate that damn cult, right? You're on the wrong planet. Screw the wrong channel. If that doesn't make you want to grit your teeth, you're on the wrong planet. Honestly. Yeah, I mean, whatever religious doctrine someone wants to believe, you really got to let somebody do whatever they want in religion. That's right. It's just sacrosanct. But when you start forcing crap on kids, a kid can't make a decision whether or not they think L. Ron Hubbard, the old baked bean grill racist, right? They can't make a decision on whether or not they want to follow that loser. It's human trafficking is what it is. It's absolutely disgusting. That car sounds excellent. I have no reason to, oh yeah, maybe you can a little bit. There we go. Just to give you an idea of how far I walked. But I'm glad that I did. Hey, Jason P. Recognize that emoji. You're buffering? I hope everybody's not buffering. I hope everybody's not buffering. Five by 5, 2 by 2. Anything by anything? How we doing, people? Oh no. Oh no. You know, for all I know, it's been doing that the entire time. Oh, there's a 5 by 5. I was going to say, for all I know, I mean, I haven't been able to read this, so maybe I've been buffering this whole time. I really hope not. I hope you guys have heard my ramblings. It's, I don't know what kind of tribute it is, but I'll tell you what, man. It's astounding just how many amazing people end up right here. You know? The irony, I hope, is not lost on the world. Right? You would be really shocked. The ensemble of amazing human beings who can be brought together under the craziest of circumstances. Right? A bank robber looking for 6 people to hang out with so that he didn't get high. And boy, we have certainly grown beyond that. Huge shout out to Alan Valentine, who called me today, which, by the way, we do this every week. This is not, but this just happened to coincide with both of us having a pretty bad day. Alan was also someone that was calling Steve every week. But it was a really bad day, and he called and he said, hey, did I wake you up? I said, no. He said, You want to talk? You sound bummed out. I said, no, I am bummed out. And by the end of that call, right, both of us were laughing and giggling and telling stories. This unbelievable family that we've built. I know that I get emails and I get texts and people say to me, my insert whoever here thinks I'm crazy, right? My wife thinks I'm crazy. My husband thinks I'm crazy. My daughter thinks I'm crazy because they watch these YouTube channels, not just the boat, but the boat or Reese or AA Ron or any of these channels where, because it's live, you really kind of get, kind of tied in and kind of vested with the host, right? It's heavy, people. It really is. It's heavy. It's the proof. God help us. I'm not. Yeah, I am. Screw it. It's exactly what I'm doing. I'm bragging about this channel. This is a. There aren't other channels like it. I'm sorry, there aren't. And the ones I just mentioned aside, you understand what I'm saying? I mean, they're very similar. The connection thing. I don't really think that it matters tremendously what the host is talking about. If the host is kind, right? If the mission is to make the earth a better place, right? Or to entertain and do it in such a way that doesn't hurt anybody, anything that is bringing people together, I promise you, is making this earth a better place. For real. Do me a favor, check and see if you're unsubscribed, because holy hell, does that happen a lot. There are, I have counted so far 13 people who have said to me every single time I come to your channel, I have to resubscribe. It is not just me. A bunch of people have been concerned about it. If you join the Discord server, you will never have to worry again about the bell for notification, because the Discord server will let you know that Tommy Scoville is in the dark in the middle of the Catalina foothills, walking around with a couple of hundred of his friends. Huge shout out also to the people on the boat, kind enough and real enough. And I'll tell you something, this is also another one of those defining characteristics of the people on the Lifeboat. But to those of you who reached out and said, I really feel like in the last couple of interviews I got to know a Reese that I didn't know. And I really feel like, we understand her more, or I understand her more, or whatever the case may be. It's really cool when people will say, oh, you know what, I gave somebody a second chance, because I'll tell you something else, it's pretty friggin' unique. Once again, literally, pretty unique. There aren't that many places where that happens, and I have mad respect to all of the people who said, you know what, I'm glad I stuck around for those. Those two interviews I am more proud of, I think, than about 90% of the stuff that I've done on the boat. Those there's just really the number of you that said I couldn't watch past 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever the case may be. But the number of people that said I had to stop watching because I was so emotional, that's, I think that's probably a pretty good sign that the subject matter was conveyed in such a way to really do justice to just what a crap show and a dumpster fire that jackass created. He's just fun to call a jackass, too. And normally I would never pick on somebody for something as trivial as someone's teeth or something like that, or someone's height. Those are all really trivial and stupid things. But it's fun to pick on that man's grill. I'm sorry, it is. The man's teeth look remarkably like baked beans. But, we've talked about this on the boat before. I think it was his terror. He was very afraid of dentists. And I think that's because his entire fantasy happened while whacked out on nitrous in a dentist's office. I'd be a little freaked out my damn self. You know what I mean? Get in and get your teeth drilled and come out talking about Xenu. I can see where the guy might be a little tripped out, but he really should have visited. I mean, at least one, you know, or do something, because they did look like baked beans. I think Johnny kind of nailed it. Just saying. Who are we talking about? Elcon Hubbard, actually, is who we were taking a shot at. It's usually one of my favorite people to pick on. And yes, that was me vaping. Although, let's see. Valentine, how many seconds was that? Steve, did you count that? How many seconds was that? Vixen, good to see you. Hold on a second. I think I saw Billy Joel. Jeremy Shelton liked 70s Billy Joel. Should I leave? Jeremy Shelton is trying to crawl his way back into good graces because of all of the mean things that he has said about the Bee Gees. And I'm not going to lie to you. He's got a tough row to hoe. He really does. Planet. I mean it. I'm a pretty. I've got thick skin. There's a lot that I can endure, but the abuse of Robin, Maurice, and Barry, the brothers Gibb, I'm not having it. I'm not having it. I take it as a personal insult. It is a affront to all people who love fantastic music. Did I mention that when I was on the road, I saw a really excellent documentary about them? Because it really was. It was an excellent documentary. Laggy McGee, well, I'm not surprised, Lord Kiss Freak. I am in the middle of freaking nowhere. Walking around on a handheld recording device that probably would be better served at this point if it was a compass. You feel me? At this point, I may need Magellan. Not the app. Like actually need Magellan. The dude. The dude. The dude abides. Kelly, good to see you. Kelly, send me an email, Kelly, please. And send it to me at Tommy Scoville, gmail.com, please. I want to do I would like to do a collaboration with you. I have about 500 questions I want to ask you. Virginia, it's funny that you're the one that says do not get lost, because I think I just saw a sign that said welcome to Virginia. So on the bright side, I'm no longer lost. I know exactly where I am. It's about 2,000 miles east of where I was hoping I was, but no big deal. You know what's funny, people? No lie. So when I would sit and talk to Q, one of the things that I said, and we talked about this, my brother's got right now yelling the names of cities from the state that I was in because he hates this concept. But I want to walk across the country. I really do. When I was in the joint and I was going out every day, I was doing like anywhere between 6 and 8 hours of walking every day. Like I was really, really into it. And my goal was for a huge publicity stunt to draw attention to the whole fentanyl crisis, was to plan to do the old forest and walk across the United States. And you know what? I'm telling you, I'm not ruling it out. For the longest time, it was kind of a back burner thing on account of the fact that I had paper, right? You know, the feds weren't going to allow me. Thank you, Tampa Bay. I don't know what that said, but I love you. I don't have my glasses. Don't tell Lisa. But I wasn't allowed to do anything like that. There was no way I could have done that because I was still technically property, right? I was not of my own until July, right? Late June, early July. I killed my paper, my debt to society, paid in full. Wharton Fissel, good to see you. Monk. I wish I could read all of you. I'm going by emojis that I recognize. That's currently what I'm doing. Isn't that terrible? But without glasses. See Vixen, I can recognize that one. No going wrong. No going wrong. Did I see bacon is meat candy? Danny's mom, good to see you. Hello, Kristen. Kristen, that was one of the most beautiful things that Kristen sent me. A absolutely lovely. Yeah, lovely might not be the right word. Kristen sent me a beautiful. It was a bit heart wrenching, but it was a absolutely beautiful tribute, and I'm turning around because I'm not as tough as I sound, and there's a ton of noise from that direction that scared the crap out of me. Did you hear that? Seriously, it sounded like you hear them. It's a whole bevy of people. Well, I'm not worried they're going to jump me. I'm worried they're going to invite me to their party. You know what I mean? Like it's been a pretty rugged day. I might take him up on it. So I'm just going to change direction, and directly I'll be directed in the right direction. Anybody got any Alice fans? I know we have Alice fans. Kimmy's Blue. Recognize that. Wait a second. Did I see a Reese wave? Did I see a Reese wave? There she is. Reese's Feetsies. Am I safe? Of course I'm safe. Why would I not be safe? Oh, because no, I'm joking. There's a party behind me. I'm safe. No, I live in a very safe part of the world. Honestly, nothing to worry about. No, see, now you got everybody freaked out. No, I live in a very safe place. I promise you, I live in a very safe place. And I'm also big. And I've been to prison. I think you're good. I'm kidding. It was a joke. I saw some of your show tonight, Reese. It was fantastic. If you have not gone over and checked that out, people, you really need to. Reese does a tremendous interview. I think you'd be blown away. She really does. She does an amazing interview. One more skill in the arsenal of the relatable Reese. Wizardry, I tell you. It's wizardry. Hello, Heather. Good to see you. Rexican Messler. Every time I say that, I guarantee you someone is making a thumbnail and they're saying, listen to how bad Tommy is slurring. They got this Rexican Messler. I promise. Somewhere there's a short out there talking about me being loaded. I do what I can. I do what I can. I wish these were bigger so I could read them. Because the irony is, you can't see me and I can't see you, and we're hanging out. That's connection, people. That's what I'm talking about. 240 of us hanging out in the dark. No, I'm perfectly safe. In fact, see I get to a place, Cheshire Cat. You know what? The Cheshire Cat. I saw the moon earlier. At least I did. Maybe I didn't. I love when the Cheshire Cat, when the moon is doing that Cheshire Cat thing. Matches my tattoo, I have a tattoo of the Cheshire Cat on my left arm, left back arm. I have a bevy of Alice in Wonderland characters tattooed on my body. By the way, people, tomorrow, meet the Scovilles and get a burger at a place called Bacon Thunder Burger. If I had a microphone, I would drop. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Do you have me? Okay, so we were making a thumbnail where we were trying to show off our tattoos, so that the owner could match the tattoos to because his symbol happens to be tattooed on both of our bodies, my brother and myself. I don't know if that one ended up in a thumbnail or not, but does require us removing our pants. Yep, I said it. Made for a good photo. Nicola, good to see you. I am back. Sorry about that. Shelly, I agree with you. She did a fantastic job earlier with Miriam. And it was very cool to, it highlighted, I thought it did a fantastic job of not only highlighting the story, but also highlighting the skills of both of them. Two really tremendous communicators. I was watching, when she said she felt uneducated. You know what? That's such a better term than some of the things that you say and some of the things that I've heard second gen say. There's feeling uneducated is something that is a whole lot different than stupid, right? Or dumb. Uneducated just means you haven't got there yet. That there's a whole host of things that you're ready to learn, and I haven't met a dumb second gen yet. I really haven't. I've met some that made some unusual decisions, but I haven't met any that were dumb. I really, and I'm always blown away at their ability to communicate. Some better than others. Our Reese is certainly at the top of the heap when it comes to communication. Uneducated, true, dumb, absolutely not. Shelley, thank you. I think Shelley summed that up. I would post that if I had the ability, but you see, out here, I cannot post. You know what? Lord Kiss Freak, I am going to be putting up some of those videos probably tomorrow. I thought about doing it today to give people a laugh, but I thought I would give them a to recoup, so to speak. That's a pretty cool effect. If you could get them to stay and keep their brake lights on, it would make a much better show. Ah, yes, you all need to set your clocks forward. I personally do not. I had to uproot my life, right? Pack a moving truck, drive, for 16 hours, buy a home, do all that stuff, but it will save me having to set. Do you realize the number of... Do it. It's fighting us, people. It's fighting us, but we're trying. I have a lot of watches that require me sitting down and setting every single one of them 1 hour ahead or 1 hour behind. That's frustrating in a way you can't imagine. So I'm not a fan. It's almost worth just moving here for that. You know what, Kelly? It confuses me. I thought it was going to be great. You know, they don't do it here. You don't have to worry about the daylight savings or any of that stuff. But when you come here, you actually have to worry about it more because the time is... I'm never on the same time, and I got to take into account the fact that I didn't change, but everybody else did. So normally I'm on California time, but I'm not now, and I will be again tomorrow. No, it's actually confusing as hell. It hasn't been easier. I wish it has. No one... Humbleness is vital. Yeah, I think that there's probably something to that. And yeah, nobody knows everything. I agree. And I think that once you stop learning, you stop living. I don't think that's a cliche. I really do believe that there's truth to that. I think that, and I think science backs it up. You know, there's a lot going on in your dome chemically. As you start to learn, there's an awful lot going on, and that stuff's good. It keeps you young. It keeps you vital. I'm trying to make a point of working harder toward education. I know every car that passes has got to be looking and going, there's a bald dude, right? Like the mustache, the goatee. I don't know. I do kind of look like I have if I had the sleeveless T-shirt, I would look like I had the convict starter kit, the Halloween kit for I just left the joint. I'm sure they're really happy with me walking around the neighborhood. I don't look particularly dressed up today, peeps. I really don't. I kind of went out, I don't know what the right word is. Hold on 1 second. What do we got here? You don't have daylight savings time. See, that's civilized. No one should have daylight savings times. My understanding is this is the end of it. We're not going to be doing it anymore after this one. That's my understanding. I don't think 2025 is the year that we go back. I think that that's pretty much the end of it. And Hummingbird, excellent question. How are you feeling? All right, people. Now listen. We're going to get through this together. Are you ready? I'm not a young man, but I'm going to run for about 30 yards of this because there's a dead zone that I got to get through. Right? I'm going to get through this as quickly as possible so that we can get to the other side of it and you're not hosed. So let's see if we can get through the dead zone. All right, now, what do you think? Have I got a 5x5 or are you all gone? Yep, that's what I feared. Yeah, and that's all she wrote. Holy shit. What do you think? Anybody? Anybody?